Hi, I'm Adam. Welcome to Jazz Hacks with Truer MU. A dissonance is any kind of sound that is harsher to your ears than you want it to be. Of course, this could be a dissonance if what you really want is this. Then this is the spice that turns the sound into something that you want to resolve. But of course, this doesn't have to be a dissonance. If this is the sound you want, then this could be the dissonance. I'm moving from the sound that I don't want to the sound that I do want, right? So dissonance is relative. Of course, there are some sounds that are so crazy that it's very hard to think of them as consonances. It's very hard to think of them as pleasant in any circumstances. But there's something I want you to know about dissonance, which is that if you move through dissonance fast, then you never have to say you're sorry. You can move from any pretty sound to an ugly sound to another pretty sound. As long as you've got a destination that is satisfying, you can actually move through trouble. So, as long as I resolve myself, right? Here, I'll start with a G, do something crazy, and resolve. See, that little bit of spice adds a little bit of tension. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say I said to my wife, "Hey, you're really ugly for the prettiest woman in the world." Now, she's probably going to get mad depending on the circumstances. That's a pretty harsh statement to say. Of course, if I just say the dissonance, "Hey, you're pretty ugly," then she's going to beat me up. She's going to divorce me. She's going to say, "If you think I'm so ugly, I'll see you later." If I follow it quickly with "for the prettiest woman in the world," "Hey, you're pretty ugly for the prettiest woman in the world," then she's going to hear it as a joke. She's going to think, well, you're just trying to be funny, and that was a sort of a sweet thing to say. It was kind of weird that you'd put it that way, but thanks for saying I'm pretty, and then I'm off the hook. I went through the dissonance quickly. If I go through the dissonance slowly, "Hey, you're pretty ugly for the prettiest woman in the world," then that's a little riskier. That sounds like an insult that I tried to take back with an apology. So here's moving through the dissonance quickly. "Hey, you're pretty ugly for the prettiest woman in the world." "Hey, you're pretty ugly. Hey, you're pretty ugly for the prettiest woman in the world." Different effects. The point is, if I don't have a place to land, I'm just being dissonant. And of course, there's one more thing that makes this analogy work, which is that if there's a dissonance like, "Hey, you're pretty ugly," it better be my wife and not my first date. Context is important. There are some gigs, some situations in jazz where I can play this. Right? And that's going to work. Then there are other situations, like maybe a Dixieland gig, where if I did that, I'd get kicked off the bandstand. They wouldn't find those dissonances pleasant, no matter how well I resolved them. However, as a rule, in most situations, if you move through the dissonance quickly, you never have to say you're sorry. Are you at a situation where everything you play is dissonance because you don't know how to play? Why don't you check out Truer MU? It's a better way to play the piano. We'll start you at entry-level blues, and if you know absolutely nothing, we're going to get you where you need to go. Start with us, see what you can figure out. We will see you there at truermu.com.